I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, and went to school at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, so I'm a proud Cornhusker. A long, strange trip, I can say. When I graduated from school, I went and lived in Omaha for 5 or 6 years, worked in Council Bluffs at an arena there. So I actually started my career in venue management and spent about the next 20 years in venue management, traveling between the arena in Council Bluffs, Iowa, the Oregon Convention Center in Portland. My stop after that was at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, California. After that, landed at the Ernest and Morial Convention Center in New Orleans, and then had the opportunity to move to Evansville to run the Convention Center and Theater here. Did that for about five years, and then made the transition into the DMO world about 2.5 years ago. I was a music major in college, and I was going to be a performer. I was a vocal performance major, and by the time I was getting ready to graduate, I had actually kind of soured around the politics of music performance, and I thought, if you don't like music performance in Lincoln, Nebraska, you're probably not going to make it in New York City. But what I really had come to enjoy was what was happening behind the scenes, what was happening backstage, what it took to, really kind of put a performance on. And so that led me into more of event management, which obviously led me towards the venues, because I really enjoyed, seeing those performances come together. There was a small convention center attached to the arena that I worked at, so I really got to see events, running from one side of the building and hosting Monster Jam to the other side of the building hosting a bridal show. So really fell in love with the pace and the variety. Explore Evansville is essentially it's the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Although Convention and Visitors Bureau, that term has kind of become passé. So nowadays, people will refer to organizations like ours as destination management organizations or destination marketing organizations, because we are trying to sell the destination to visitors and potential residents now. Tourism can make a huge impact on a community. In fact, our most recent study was conducted in 2022, and in Vanderburgh County alone, tourism generated $503 million worth of economic impact and supported 10,000 jobs across the region. So this is a huge impact. We also alleviate tax burden on our own residents, which is why we always say, our most important customers are often our neighbors, because a lot of the investments that we can make with tourism dollars offsets local taxes. So again, in 2022, we saved a local resident over $1,100 in taxes that they would have normally had to pay had tourism not existed. So this was actually the first role I stepped into. I was the board member. I served as a board member for about 5 years. I was the treasurer for the organization. I've been the secretary for the organization, but really did step into this role as the president and CEO 2.5 years ago. Yeah, well, there was just a tremendous opportunity post-COVID, obviously. So I took over in 2021, which we were still seeing some recovery at that point. Is that right? 2021 or 2020? 1, 2, 3. You'll edit this, right? They were. So it was still a time of change. It was still a time of kind of re-entering, what the tourism world was doing and how we were going to assert ourselves as part of that. We also pretty quickly after I started went through a rebrand. So we went from Visit Evansville to Explore Evansville, which included new branding and new logos and things like that. So that was an exciting project to take on. So it was a different way I could serve the community. It was a more broad way I could serve the community. And so it's been an exciting ride so far. Well, I mean, we'd be searching for those dollars elsewhere, certainly. You know what I mean? That would be, we probably wouldn't have Deaconess Sports Park. That was something that the CVB at the time instigated, and at this point we own and operate Deaconess Sports Park. We also operate on behalf of the city of Evansville Gable Soccer Complex. So these are tremendous investments that we've made over the course of the last 15 years that have provided a lot of quality of place assets to the community. Other things that we have supported through our Tourism Capital Investment Fund is Deaconess Aquatic Center, Metzger Park Zoo. We've put over $1 million into some of the new attractions there at Metzger Park Zoo. We've supported almost all of the local museums, including the Evansville Museum, whom we just gave $500,000 to for the Picasso exhibit. So imagine in Evansville without any of those assets, that's what that would look like without tourism. So we're really trying to provide for different cultural experiences for both our visitors and our residents. I think it's the experience of inviting somebody into your community, showing them what about your community is special, ensuring they have a great experience and want to come back. Tourism has become a part of the economic development life cycle because, as they say, according to a community vitality wheel, you have to visit a place first before you decide to live there. And when you decide to live in a place, if you've built it correctly, you decide to invest in a place, and businesses will come there. And if you decide to invest in a place and businesses will come there, well, then you've probably created a place where people want to visit because it's a culturally appealing place. So hence the cycle all starts with that visit and making sure that leaves a lasting impression. So it goes back to just making sure that everybody, as part of the fabric of your hospitality environment, as part of your hospitality team, is engaged, whether it be the server at the restaurant or the housekeeper, letting them know how important they are to that overall impact. Knowing that somebody had a great experience, hearing positive feedback about how they didn't know that those kinds of experiences existed in Evansville, or this was the best conference or event or tournament they've ever been to. Seeing 6,000 softball players at Deaconess Sports Park for the USSSA Great Lakes National, and just everyone is having a ball. We just held a convention a few weeks ago, and I've run into the organizer a couple of times, and every time she has something new and exciting and complimentary to say about the city. That's what is the most rewarding part to me.